Good afternoon, Detroit Lions fans. Here on this Monday, we're going to be talking about the latest Detroit Lions news and rumors. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 players who stood out well at Minicamp. Lions lose a practice. We're going to talk about that. Best Lions additions in the offseason. In the Lions depth chart post-Minicamp, who went up, who went down? Let's go. Question for the day. Will Jameson Williams break out this up-and-coming season? Y for yes and for no. Let me know in the comments below. The Detroit Lions got in trouble for screwing up on a practice, doing a little bit more, so they lost a practice here. On Friday evening, the organization was made aware of the NFL and the NFLPA that organized team activities in the OTA practices held the week of May 27 violated player rules pertaining to on-field physical contact pursuant of collective bargaining agreement. The statement said, as a result, the team's OTA practice scheduled for Monday, June 10, today, has been forfeited. We take very seriously the rules set forth with the NFL's offseason program and it worked out to conduct and practice accordingly. We will continue to be vigilant with our practices. Whew. So the Lions lost a practice. Oh, my. This is who cares? Really, I don't care. The Lions lose one practice. Oh, no. They're not going to be able to do the job. Look, a lot of teams are doing this. Lions got caught. And, it's good that they are enforcing these type of rules, and it sets organizations back to be on the same page. But Lions losing a practice, is that going to make a difference? Absolutely not. I'm not mad about it, not upset about it. But maybe you're differently. Are you upset that the Lions lost a practice? Let us know in the comments below. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into an interesting part here and talk about players who stood out really well in minicamp. And there's 5 players that stood out, one being Jameson Williams, the receiver who we all need to step up. He has been stepping up in minicamp. He's been making some big-time catches. His route running is better. It's crisp. He's catching the footballs better than he was last year. Each day he's getting better. Is it as fast as we'd like? I don't know. But Jameson Williams definitely is progressing. Yes, he's had a couple drops, but he's had some spectacular plays. Overall, he is a winner. He stood out positively. Next player on the list here is Lions kicker James Turner, competing with Michael Badgley. He started out rough in OTAs, but he really had solid, strong turnout in minicamp. Same amount of kick field goals as Michael Badgley. He's the undrafted guy from Michigan. Look, if the Detroit Lions were like to switch the kicker up, James Turner has been doing much better as of late. We'll see if he can continue this in training camp, and I think most importantly, can he continue it in preseason and game time action. Next player that really stood out is Jack Campbell. He's taken that second-year leap. I know a lot of people talk about the other 3 rookies at the Lions drafted last year's draft, but Jack Campbell was one of those 4. And they talk about the other 3, but Jack Campbell is really doing much better this year. Again, this is fully expected. Remember, they want to kind of slowly bring him along. He was getting playing time for the Lions throughout the season. I think he'll slowly get a little bit more because he is getting better. A lot of people think he could have a breakout year in 2024. Next player that had a breakout is cornerback Amik Robertson, and this is great news. We signed this man in free agency. There's a great battle taking place right now at that nickel position. Amik Robertson, Brian Branch, Ennis Rakestraw are battling for that spot. I do think Amik Robertson probably will get that spot between him or Brian Branch. It's just how they want to use Brian Winch. We really don't know. Like, they have multiple ways they can use this guy. But he stood out well, and that's a big difference when the Detroit Lions are trying to get some good play at the corner position. Lastly, and absolutely not least, is my man Khalif Raymond, outstanding minicamp. Look, he was injured at the end of the season last year, couldn't play in the playoffs, but we know what Khalif Raymond is. Lions fans know this guy is extremely underrated. He is a fantastic player who the Lions absolutely dig. And so I think that we expected this. He's going to keep doing it. Who will be wide receiver 3? Again, I still think it's probably going to be Khalif Raymond over Donovan Peoples-Jones because he is doing a little bit better. Topic of conversation that I really thought was interesting, and that is, who do you believe the most important addition was this off season? That is the question for right now. And you could look at free agency and you look at the draft. Free agency, we made the trade for Carlton Davis. We got Amik Robertson, completely switched over, right? The cornerback room. We draft Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw. We bring back Emmanuel Mosley. Those are additions there. For the corner position, you look at the defensive line, DJ Reader, Marcus Davenport, Kevin Zeitler on the offensive line. So there is some good players that we picked up in the offseason. But who is the most important player that we picked up? For me, it's going to be going Terrion Arnold. To get Terrion Arnold where we did in the draft was absolutely not expected. They had corners falling because everyone kept going offense early, and it pushed Terrion Arnold to where the Lions could jump up, make a trade, and get him. I think he's the most important addition because he's going to hold the fort down for the secondary for a very long time. He will be an island player. I'm going to go with Terrion Arnold. But what if you disagree? So who is your best offseason addition? Name the player in the comments below. And we talked about earlier, will Jameson Williams have a breakout year? Let us know in the comments. Let's go and get into the depth chart that is updated from Minicamp. What does it look like after Minicamp? Who excelled, who went up, and who went down? Important to know because a lot of battles are taking place. Start the quarterback position here. Nothing changed. Jared Goff, QB1. Hendon Hooker, QB2. QB3 is Nate Sudfeld. With that said, this could be a fluctuation. I still believe Hendon Hooker will be number 2, but there has been some issues that he has had so far in Minicamp, but he's still sitting at that number 2 spot. Let's get into the tackle position here. This is what it's looking like right now. Taylor Decker, your left tackle, 1. Penei Sewell, your right tackle, 1. Dan Skipper, left tackle, 2. Connor Galvin, right tackle, 2. Colby Sorsdale, left tackle, 3. Giovanni Manu, left tackle, right tackle, whatever it is, very bottom of the depth chart. Giovanni Manu right now is at the very bottom because he is a work in progress. The idea of him starting a tackle or backup tackle right now seems a little bit out of the realm. So they're going to use Dan Skipper in that. That's what they got for the tackle position as of right now. Let's get into the next one really quick here. We're going to look at the guard position. Kevin Zeitler, right guard, number 1. Graham Gaskell, left guard, 1. Kyoto Owusika, he was the backup guard, but now he's the backup guard still. Natane Muti, left guard, 3. Christian Mahogany, right guard, 2. And Matt Forniak, right guard, 3. You look at this, good chance that for Matt Forniak is not making the team. That is just a facts of the situation. Let's go to the center position here. Frank Ragnow, Michael Nee, center 2. Brian Hudson, center 3. Duke Clemens, center 4. Kingsley Uguakan, center 5. Look, the backup is Graham Glasgow. I don't know if many people's going to make this team from the center position. We'll see how this goes. Frank Ragnow, Graham Glasgow, it will be it for sure. But will they have another one? I do not know, but that's just what it is right now. Let's go ahead and jump into the running back position. Jahmyr Gibbs, RB1 from what we're seeing. David Montgomery, RB2. Craig Reynolds still sitting at RB3. Cyan Vaki, this is where he can move up. He is going to make the team. He'll probably be RB3. Right now he's RB4. Zonovan Knight pushed down to RB5. Jamar Jefferson, RB6. Jake Funk, RB7. Knight, Jamar Jefferson, Funk probably not making the team. Let's go ahead and jump to the next one here. And you got Sam Laporta, tight end number 1. Brock Wright, tight end number 2. James Mitchell sitting at 3. Shane Zylstra, 4. Parker Hesse, 5. Sean Mikion, 6. James Mitchell is struggling. You could see a situation where he gets passed up and not making the football team. It is a possibility, something we don't want to think about, but it is true. Question for you, who's had the best offseason addition? Blow up the names in the comment section. Let us know your thoughts. Let's continue on with the wide receiver position here. St. Brown, wide receiver 1. Jamison Williams, wide receiver 2. Antoine Green, wide receiver 3. Khalif Raymond, wide receiver 4. Yes, you see that right. That's how they have it listed. Donovan Peoples-Jones sitting at 5. Maurice Alexander at 6. Doris Fountain, who has had a spectacular minicamp. He actually could jump Antoine Green to make the roster. Tom Kennedy at 8. Caden Davis at 9. Isaiah Williams at 10. This is a big-time battle. It's going to be tough to make it as a wide receiver. Let's go ahead and jump to special teams. Jack Fox, the single punter. He's made the team already unless he is injured. The Lions kicker position here, you got Badgley, kicker 1, James Turner, number 2. But Mr. Turner is starting to turn some eyes. At least he's getting a little bit more success. But Badgley is ahead, in my opinion. Long snapper will be Scott Daly. Hogan Hayton is long snapper 2. Scott Daly will be the guy. Let's get to defense here. Go to the edge position. Aiden Hutchinson sitting at 1. Josh Pascal sitting at 2. Kaminsky at edge 3. And Marcus Davenport at edge 4. This probably will switch up, obviously, before the season start. James Houston at edge 4. Watch Mitchell Agood. He is making noise. I could see a situation where he ends up being over James Houston. Matthew Betts sitting at 6. And Isaac Ukwu sitting at 7. Let's go ahead and continue on with the interior of the defensive line. You got Ali McNeil, DT1, DJ Reader, DT2, Levi Onwuzurike, defensive tackle 3. I think it's going to stay that way. Interesting here, Chris Sims is at, he would be defensive tackle 4. Makai Wingo would be defensive tackle 5. Broderick Martin at 6. And Kyle Pico at 7. This one will be fun to watch how it transitions because we want to see the excel of Broderick Martin. We want to see what Wingo can do. Those are the two that I'm watching. Let's jump to the linebackers, and we're going to get an Alex Anzalone 1, Jack Campbell 2, Derek Barnes 3, Malcolm Rodriguez 4, Jalen Reavers 5. Nothing is going to change. That's probably what it's going to be like starting the season. Steel Chambers at 6, and Deron Gilbert at 7. I think one of those two will battle it out to get that last LB spot. Probably Chambers. Let's get into the depth chart here for the nickel corner position. Brian Branch sitting at 1. Amik Robertson sitting at 2. Ennis Rakestraw at 3. It's going to be between Brian Branch and Amik Robertson. And remember, they're going to switch a lot up when it comes to how they play on game day. Those two will be in and out. The corners on the outsides, Carlton Davis and Terrion Arnold is 1 and 2. So right now you got Carlton Davis, Terrion Arnold, and Brian Branch. That would be your 3 nickel or 3 corners. Kendall Voldor sitting at cornerback 3. Emmanuel Mosley sitting at 4. Khalil Dorsey had an injury, but he's fine. He's sitting at 5. He's probably going to make the team. Maurice Morris at 6. Stephen Gilmore at 7. And Craig James at 8. Gilmore is looking like he may have a hard time to make this roster. Let's go ahead and jump into the last position, safety here. Kirby Joseph sitting at 1. Iffy sitting at 2. Brandon Joseph sitting at 3. Undrafted last year is really showing out. I think he does make the team. CJ Moore, special teams guy, sitting at 4. Warren Strickland, Chellan Garms, 5 and 6. Good chance not making the roster. What do you guys think about the Lions roster? What do you think about the depth chart right there? Give me your thoughts in the comments below. With that said, folks, adios.